I don't have any admin rights for this one. So I will tell from some basics. We'll try. Diskmgmt.msc. See, no local permissions, but I will tell you. Okay, I can't show, but I can show. Guys, you have a hard disk or an SSD. Okay, so as a traditional, we are saying hard disk. When you take a new fresh hard disk, insert it into your system, then you have to go to disk management, initialize the disk as MBR or GPT. You have to initialize the disk as an MBR or a GPT. What is this MBR and GPT? There are partition styles. Okay. See, it is, I inserted a new hard disk, 20 GB hard disk I inserted. And it is asking initialize the disk. It is not initialized. So when I right click and initialize, it is showing, do you want to initialize as a MBR or a GPT? I'll make it 200% so you can see clearly. Initialize the disk as MBR or a GPT. MBR means master boot record, GPT GUID partition table. So when you insert a fresh hard disk and you have to go to the disk management and you have to initialize as MBR or a GPT. Okay. Second one is you have a new fresh system, like you brought a new desktop, you assembled a new desktop or a laptop. It is no operating system, nothing is there. Now you want to install a new operating system in it. And you have a hard disk. Hard disk is not initialized as either MBR or a GPT. It's a fresh hard disk. No OS, no partition, nothing. Now you want to install a OS. Without a OS, you can't initialize it. So what will happen? Your OS, okay, and your BIOS. This is BIOS chip, and you are installing an operating system. Your firmware is BIOS. The disk is initialized as a MBR. Disk is initialized as a MBR. So you have a BIOS version. It is a little older desktop or laptop. So in that time, in the olden days, means at least 4 or 5 years back. Okay. So your motherboard comes with a BIOS chip, and you inserted a hard disk, and you want to install operating system. So the operating system initialize the disk. The disk as a MBR type of disk. Next, instead of BIOS, you are getting UEFI. Your firmware type is UEFI, and you have a fresh hard disk. Now you want to install an operating system. And the operating system latest versions like a Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, or a Linux, Enterprise Linux 7, 8. The latest operating systems support UEFI. UEFI supported operating system. If you are installing, then your disk initialized as a GPT. Okay. Sometimes, olden days BIOS, nowadays UEFI. What happens if it is in middle? Means before Windows 8, Windows 7 is there. And now I want to install Windows 7. So that time what they have done, so Windows 7 not support UEFI. Okay, so what they done, so they put both the things, BIOS as well as UEFI. BIOS is other name. They use the legacy setup kind of stuff. Okay, so either BIOS or a UEFI. So you're installing Windows 7, so then BIOS is active, then it is MBR. If you are installing Windows 8 or above, then the UEFI is coming to online, then it is GPT. Sometimes you can choose by go to BIOS settings. You can choose either BIOS or UEFI, which one you want to use it. So if you are using a BIOS and Windows 8, it's MBR. Okay. So when you are installing operating system freshly, operating system and your BIOS or UEFI will tell you what partition style has to be initialized. What is MBR? Master boot record. The record is actually stores in the first sector of the disk. In this sector, in this first one, this MBR record will stores. What is this record contains? How many number of partitions you have made it? What is the size of the partition or a total location of the partition? Okay, partition locations, operating system location, bootloader locations. It is about your partitions information. Okay, and type of partitions, size of the partitions in sectors, arrangement of the partition, what is the first partition, second partition, third partition kind of stuff. Yes, we are seeing drive letters, A, C drive, D drive, E drive. There's a logical type, means it can be changed based on the different scenarios. Okay, the drive letters for our understanding, but PC understanding in different way. Okay, so this is a MBR record. If you initialize as a MBR record, what happens? So if you initialize as a MBR, master boot record. Okay, so what happens? You can create 4 primary partitions. You can create 4 primary partitions. You can create it. So for example, this is a one primary. Take 500 GB hard disk. I created a 100 GB primary partition for C drive. Another partition I created 50 GB. Another partition I created 50 GB. Now 200 GB completed. So 4 primary means, for example, another 100 GB I have created separately. So what happened? 300 GB completed, 4 primary completed. What about this remaining space? The remaining is unallocated and stay as unallocated only. Nothing you can able to do it. Can't change anything. Okay, nothing you can able to do it. Okay, so this is
Sir,
unallocated.
that remaining must be 200 GB, na sir?
Yeah, this
Sir, one doubt,
200
sir.
GB. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, very good. This is 300 GB. We use 200 GB wasted. Then what to do? You have to plan properly. How much for this one? For example, this is 100 GB. This is 100 GB. This is 100 GB. This is 200 GB. Remaining space. You can plan according to it. But problem is, not problem. So earlier days means up to Windows XP, this is acceptable. You can create 4 primaries like that. It is acceptable. From Windows 7 onwards, it is changed. Okay. So we'll go back. So what is the solution? I want to create more partition. I want 5 partitions. I have very big hard disk. I want to create more partitions. Okay. Then how to create it? Whether it is Windows XP or new one. You create 3 primary and automatically remaining become extended. In the extended, you can create a logical drives. So first primary completed, second primary, third primary, 3 primary drives are completed. Now what happened? The remaining space is an extended partition. Of course, guys, golden days you can decide one primary, remaining is extended. Two primary, remaining is extended. Like that we can manage. But Windows 7 onwards, Windows 7, 8, Windows 10 onwards, when you create a three primary partitions, and you are creating fourth one, automatically it is a logical drive in the extended partition. Automatically it is a logical drive in the extended partition. Okay. So like this, multiple logical drives we can create in this extended partition. So I want more partitions. Why you should create a partition first of all, guys? To store different type of data separately. I want to store operating system in the one drive. In another drive, I will store my personal files. Another one, I will store my virtual machine. I will store my music files, video files. I will store my class material in another drive. Like I need a multiple drives to store data separately and maintain a data in separate drives. Okay, so I need more partitions than what I've done. So I created three primary, and when I'm creating fourth primary, automatically it create remaining partition as extended. In the extended, the partition created as a logical drive. So look at here, this is 100 GB I have created, 50 GB, 50 GB, maybe it is another 50 GB. Here I create 20 GB. Here I created 30 GB. I will create a 10 GB here. Like this, I can create a multiple logical drives. Okay. So this is the limitation, guys. So three primaries and remaining become extended. In the extended, we'll create a logical drives, multiple logical drives we can create it. Okay. This is if you initialize your disk as a MBR, means your disk is as an MBR, then you have to manage like this. Next. I have a partition, right? How much size of the partition? I have taken 100 GB, but depends upon hard disk. Nowadays, hard disks are coming with 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte hard disk capacity. I can create different partition size. 2 terabyte partition I can create, 4 terabyte partition I can create, right? But what is the maximum limit of a single partition size is 2 terabyte only. Maximum up to 2 terabytes of single partition you can able to create it. For example, you have 8 terabyte of disk. So 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte like that. Or less than it, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte like that you can also create it. But maximum 2 terabyte of single partition. Okay. Just understand MBR?
Yes, sir.
Next one is GPT, GUID partition table. It is a new version. So by iOS to UEFI, how it is new version, same as GPT is also a new version kind of stuff. Okay. So if you insert a disk and you initialize as a GPT, or you have a disk, this is GPT of disk. You can create a partitions and that to primary partitions like this. You are creating multiple primary partitions. How many we can create it? 128 primary partitions we can create it. 128 primary partitions. No extended, no logical. No extended, no logical required. 128 primary partitions we can create. Each partition, so how much maximum size of single partition you can take it? More than 2 terabyte. Okay, it support up to 2 terabyte and more than 2 terabyte. And as for certain textbook, it is support up to 18 EB. In some places, 9.2 ZB also it is shown. Like gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, like that,
Yes, sir.
petabyte, terabyte. We have so many bytes are there. So like this is 18 GB as per my old textbooks. Certain textbook like Red Hat and Microsoft textbooks have seen 18 GB. In the internet, some places it is showing 9.2 ZB also. Okay, which one is higher? You can try to check in Google. So check that what is this MBGP kind of stuff. So it is 18 GB. So 128 primary partitions we can create it, no extended, no logical, and up to more than 2 terabytes of single partition you can create it. It means if I have a 8 terabyte of hard disk, I can make 8 terabyte as a single partition. Or 4 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte, or 4 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte. Like this, depends upon my requirement. I will create a partition. Okay.
Sir,
So
what is the EB?
terabyte?
18 EB. Terabyte.
Yeah, right. So I will show you this. TB, GB, TB. This chart is there. Yeah, this is good. Kilobyte means 1024 bytes, called a 1 kilobyte. 1 byte means 8 bits. 1024 bytes. Megabyte is a 1024 kilobytes. Gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, hexabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte. So where is terabyte? Petabyte is okay, more than terabyte, petabyte, terabyte, ERA.
Sir, here it is in this one black.
Okay, escape. Okay, like it's a more than so petabyte, terabyte, zettabyte, hexabyte. So EXA, sorry, EXA. So that's why you said hexa.
Oh.
It's not hexa, it is hexa, EXA byte, zettabyte, yottabyte, frontobyte, geobyte.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, very good. This is what we are seeing now. Yeah, this is hexabyte. This is the sequence. Okay. So MBR and GPT, master boot record, GPT, GUID, partition type. This is a MBR record stores at start of sector of this hard disk. Starting point only. What is this record contain? Number of partitions, number of logical partitions, different partitions, partition sizes, locations, and the location of operating system and bootloader. That information also there in the MBR record. MBR 4 primary or 3 primary, 1 extended. In extended, we can create a multiple logical drives. Okay. Partition size support is up to 2 terabyte. Maximum single partition we can create up to 2 terabyte. Coming to the GPT, GUID partition table. So we can create 120 partitions directly. No logical or no extended drives are there. No logical drives. Support more than 2 terabyte and up to 18 EB in some places it shows 19. First, to manage the disk, we need to go to disk management. Okay, for this laptop I can't go because it is in the domain, so I don't have admin rights currently. So run as an administrator and type a DISKPART command. So then also through command line you can able to manage. In GUI mode, go to Diskmgmt.msc, then this disk management window will open. So what you can able to do, you can able to create a volumes. You can initialize the volume. You can offline, online the disk. You can initialize the disk, offline, online the disk. You can convert the disk into basic to dynamic, dynamic to basics. You can convert MBR to CPT. You can create a partitions. You can shrink the partition. You can extend the partition. You can delete the partitions. For last batch, I showed all these things, guys. For every batch I shows. I will search and forward how I showed that simple volume creation, shrinking volume, extending volume, deleting volumes. I showed them. I will give you that video because this is now I don't have any admin kind of stuff. Okay. And also we can manage volumes like a RAID volumes. We can able to manage like a simple volume span, strip the RAID level 0, mirror RAID level 1, RAID 5 of things we can able to do with the disk management. Yeah, this is one command. This is PowerShell command. It is at least I will try to show PowerShell commands. Letters are very small. Get -disk. It may not shows. It is showing. I have a disk. Disk number is 0, and it is showing 500 GB hard disk. It's not hard disk. It is actually SSD. GPT partition style. GPT partition style. In this one, it's my old laptop. It is showing disk 0 is GPT type 500 GB, and I have another hard disk I inserted that is 1 terabyte MBR style. So second another virtual hard disk I inserted 20 GB, that is MBR style. I initialized it. Okay, this is a disk part command. The command line I should not list disk command I done. Okay, guys, this is you can see this one is GPT. You can see so many partitions are created. Letters are only 3: C drive, D drive, F drive, but remaining are just the drives only. It's a GPT type, so that's why so many drives are. This is MBR. See, 1 partition, 2, 3. 3 partitions only I created. If I want to create a fourth one, no space. I have to shrink volume and I have to create it. This is my virtual hard disk, 20 GB hard disk. It is MBR disk. So MBR 1, 2, 3. 3 primary completed. The remaining entire space 4 GB, 2 GB, 2 GB, 8 GB completed out of 20. Remaining 12 GB as a single extended volume. The colors also you can understand the thick green extended volume. This is a logical drive. This is a logical drive, and still I have 8 GB free space. You can create multiple logical drives also. So that is MBR type. You guys understand? Primary, primary, primary. Remaining is extended. In that one, I created a logical drives. Then what I have
Yes, sir.
done, I removed all the partitions. I removed all the partitions and make it as a GPT. Make it as a GPT. So 1 partition, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still I have unallocated. So more than 4 I created primaries, right? Because it's a GPT type. Okay. Because it's a GPT, multiple partitions you can able to create. So in this volume, disk 1, I created so already I have a 3 partitions. So H drive, if you look at this H drive, I shrink the volume. So I take some free space from these volumes, around the 40 GB I have taken out. Then I created a 10 GB disk. So what happened in this unallocated type, it is extended volume is created because it's MBR primary completed. The remaining space become extended in that extended 10 GB logical drive. Then I created 4 GB logical drive, 26 GB free space is there. Okay. So I have a thing in this practically. Actually, I have to search where it is. Batch number 21. So there we have to set 21, not 21, 20. Yeah. MBR, GPT, partition style, partition management. So totally 1 hour video. You can change quality if in case you are getting more blur type. Okay, so we can change quality to 720 also, guys. So now it is sharp display we are getting. Just I want to show you shrink volume. Okay. This is about a shrinking volume. So look at here. I have a disk, which drive having around 86 GB free space. Out of free space 80 GB, I'm taking 40 GB out. So means H drive size will be reduced from 531 to 940, no, 491. Okay, so I'm taking 40 GB out of 86 GB. Okay, so it is MBR type of disk. So first of all, I shrink the volume, that is shrinking volume. I right click on H drive, shrink volume. Guys, don't do it on your PCs, guys. That's important. First of all, if you don't know, then better not to do it. Practice on any virtual hard disk or a virtual machines. Know about options. If you do mistake, it is a mistake. Accidental deletions and all you do, it's become big mistakes. Understand first and try on any thing. So if you know better, then only can try. So I have a free space of 86 GB, then I remove, I put a 40 GB. 40960 is means 40 GB. The shrink I'm taking this one. Now we got a 40 GB. See, no change with G drive, E drive, H drive. H drive size is reduced. Okay, I got a 40 GB free space. So 3 primaries are there. So fourth one in the 40 GB, I'm trying to create a 10 GB volume. But already 3 primaries are there in MBR. So what happens? The fourth one automatically become extended partition. So where it is? So I'm creating a new simple volume in the 40 GB. So I create a 10 GB volume in it. Okay, disk management I showed in my laptop. That's my old laptop. It is. Finish. See, I didn't tell to the system create an extended partition or a logical drive. Just I created 10 GB because it's a Windows 10. Okay, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 7. Okay, Windows 7 also. So it won't ask you any options. So once 3 primary completed, fourth one is automatically a logical drive in the extended partition. So entire remaining 40 GB, entire 40 GB become extended. In that one, 10 GB logical drive is created. Okay, so that's the point. So I told about what are the limitations to where we can do it. I deleted volume. So I deleted one by one volumes. Then I merged this 40 GB to H drive again. 40 GB I'm adding to H drive again. So I go to H drive, right click. Okay, extend volume, shrink volume, extend volume, delete volume. To delete any specific drive, you use a delete. To shrink means you take a free space, a certain amount of free space out of your drive, you use a shrink volume. You want to add that unallocated space to your drive, then we use extend volume. Okay, so this is the volume management. What is the thing we have to do first? You have to take a share of this. Okay. Earlier days we got thumbnails. Now we are not getting. Yeah, now we got it. Both are same. Delete it. Okay. So go through this. So then you will understand what I'm doing the entire disk partition. Okay, guys. Last part for today, why? Because it's already 1 o'clock. So tomorrow morning, I will tell about a boot processing and issues at boot processing. Troubleshooting things comes at this point, guys. Okay, so if possible, I will give you an introduction to the operating system. Okay, so last part for today, so we'll go for a file system. Guys, you created a partition. So for what purpose? To store data. Or you have a pen drive. What is the purpose of pen drive? To store data. You have external hard disk or a memory cards. What is the purpose? To store data. But how this data is arranged in your piece, in your device? How to store, how to allocate, how to arrange. So which defines this one? So how to arrange this? Okay. So how to data will go and sit in some place in the device. Okay. So that will be defined by file system. Based on what file system you are using, data stores based on the file system only. So file system tells how to store data or allocate data, allocate in the device or a drive. To store data in the device, also we need a file system. Not only creating a partitions or not only connecting a device, also there is a file system. Even for your memory cards, also there is a file system. Okay. In generally, we are using in which most popular one is your FAT and NTFS is the most popular file system, and mostly we are using NTFS. What file system we are using? NTFS, New Technology File System. New Technology File System. FAT12 and FAT16 or FAT32. So the FAT versions also there, guys. In the older version, FAT12, FAT16 kind of stuff, it's 4 GB maximum partition limitation. One single partition or a single drive 4 GB only. Then FAT32 came, then it is increase the size of the volume size. Means supporting volume size is 32 GB. NTFS support more than 2 terabytes. In certain systems like Windows XP, that time NTFS support 2 terabyte, up to 2 terabyte. Now it is more than 2 terabyte. Up to 18 EB it will support. Maybe now it is can be higher than that one. Okay. So NTFS also has a certain features as compared to FAT. Okay. Security feature means I have a file, so then I can give the on this file I can give read and write permissions. I can give read and write permission. This security features you are getting, either this particular user can able to read the file or can able to modify the file or can able to do some other things on it, like changing permissions on it. I can allow the user to access or deny, read or read allow or read deny, write allow, write deny. So I can do that one using this security feature. Okay, this security feature comes in the NTFS. Okay, so security feature. I can encrypt the file. Again, I can encrypt the file. So I can unlock the file is also there, some new feature, Windows feature. I can encrypt the data to secure to not to access it by unauthorized user. I can compress the data to save the disk. Compression, encryption, security. Next, disk quota. So I have a drive. So many people are trying to access my data, stored data. So I will limit the size of the data the people can able to access. And indexing. Indexing, it index your data so then data easily searchable in your system. Okay. So NTFS features are security, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. These are the features NTFS having as compared to FAT. And MTFS is also faster. NTFS will give you more big sizes, big size data we can able to store in NTFS. Okay, this is the main part, FAT and NTFS. Most of us we are using NTFS only. You guys understand up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Coming to the FAT again, guys. FAT is a universal type, means lot of devices, including your mobile phone, memory cards, FAT file system, earlier days. Okay, so for example, you have a SD card. When you insert a SD card into your mobile, by default, it is a FAT file system. Your SD cards, pen drives are a FAT file system only, not NTFS. And mobile phone, Android kind of stuff support FAT. But there is a problem. What is the problem? FAT support, FAT32 support maximum 32 GB. Your pen drive nowadays are memory cards. Earlier days 2 GB, 1 GB, 32 MB kind of stuff is 256 MB is also there. Right? 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB, now 32 GB, 64 GB memory cards are there. I have one mobile, I have in one mobile 64 GB, another mobile 128 GB. Okay, 256 GB supported up to 2 terabytes maximum to nowadays. As I seen last one is a 2 terabyte of memory card is also there. 2 terabyte memory card supporting devices also there. The problem is FAT support 32 and FAT does not store big size files. For example, I want to copy a movie. MKV format, it is 2 GB or 4 GB single movies file. I can't store in FAT file system. But NTFS not understand by Android or any other places, some other systems. What to do? That's why it is EXFAT came. Extended FAT, it support more than 2 terabytes. Sorry, it support more than 32 GB. I think so. It is currently support up to 2 terabytes. So for SD cards, mainly pen drives, SD cards, people use it for a different type of operating system. So then they can go with EXFAT. EXFAT support more than 32 GB and big size files also we can store it. Another one, guys, REFS, Resilient File System. This file system uses CRC, cyclic redundancy check. In a OSA model, we use data link layer. In a data link layer also uses CRC. What is use of CRC? To check data is safe or corrupted. It prevents data from corruptions. Okay. You want to keep a data is accessing, reading, writing is happen to data can be corrupted. So better to store in the CRC means REFS formatted drives, so data is keep not to getting corrupted. Okay. Not only Windows, guys, and devices like mobile phone and all. You have other operating system, Linux and Unix kind of operating system also has a file system, default file system, ext, ext2, ext3, ext4, xfs kind of file system it uses. You share a data through network. To sharing a data through network, also there is a type of file system, NFS, network file system, CIFS, it is a Samba related service, common internet file system. To share a data one Linux to another Linux or Linux to Windows. So we can use these file systems and manage this file system. Even your DVD also having a file. What's that, sir? 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. DVD also having universal disk format. Okay. What is meant by format, guys? So normally you connect a pen drive and your friend told me format it, format it. No problem, format it. Format means people think clean the data, remove the data in the pen drive. That is what people are telling and what is people are believing. Even we use the word, even I use the word format the drive. Okay. Format does not mean remove the data, guys. Okay. So while you do format, data may delete it. But what is the format? Format means you define the file system. You defines the file system. What file system your drive having? For example, you go to properties. What is the file system? NTFS file system. If you do format, then maybe it will come or not, I don't know. Yeah, not coming. Okay. So if you do format, so it meaning is it defines, you want to define a file system. Okay. So you want to define or redefine, like it is NTFS, again you want to make it as NTFS. Or it is NTFS, you want to change it to FAT. Or if it is a FAT, you want to change it to NTFS. So defines or redefines, or it is no format in it, then you will define a format in it. You take a fresh disk or fresh pen drive, fresh hard disk, fresh partition it is, you will define what file system. Okay. So that is the file system, guys. So what we discuss is about a totally storage today. Okay. So compulsory, guys. So try to log in to the PC. Those who are not able to log into LMS, put it in a group. So which person name and you are unable to log in kind of stuff. Okay. That's it. Tomorrow we'll see the boot processing part.
Thank you, sir.
That's it for it. Thank you guys. Thank you.